Hey, brothers and sisters, Donnie Vie, king of power pop, and you're listening to Trent and Jason and the Thunder Underground.
Welcome to episode 296 of the Thunder Underground podcast. Trent here. Jason couldn't make it this week, but I've got someone else joining me. I've got Paulette from Fist of Rage here with me.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. Thank you for agreeing to do this.
And thank you, Jason, for not being able to be here with us.
Right. Well, we've got you joining us, and our guest this week is going to be Donnie Vie.
Yes.
The original vocalist of Enough's Enough. We've got that interview with him coming up. But first, we need to let you know who sponsors this podcast, and that would be DEB Concerts, a promoter based right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They've brought a ton of great bands to the downtown Tulsa area at both the IDL Ballroom and the BOK Center. They also book the Roadhouse stage at Rocklahoma every year. Coming up, December 12th, Lita Ford will be returning to the IDL Ballroom. This time she will be acoustic. She'll be playing the show with Patrick Kennison. They'll be playing all the Lita Ford hits acoustically, so that'll be a unique experience for you to get out there and check out. The show will be opened by Palandria, who will also be performing acoustic. Socially distanced show there at the IDL Ballroom. Eddie Trunk will be hosting that show, so you can get out there and meet him as well. Ticket info for that is at debconcerts.com. And also, they just announced this past week that downtown Tulsa, they didn't say exactly where, but they said outside the doors of the IDL Ballroom, which would be similar to where Streets Gone Wild was held a few years ago. They'll be putting on an outdoor show this April 12th. It'll be headlined by Queensryche, along with Lita Ford on that one as well, Nita Strauss, and the Bullet Boys. Great lineup there. When tickets go on sale, you'll see that info right there at debconcerts.com. Follow them on Facebook, and of course, we'll let you know as well. Huge thank you to DEB Concerts. MedFarm is a dispensary located in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, at 24683 East Highway 51. They're right off the highway. You can't miss them. They've got a drive-through, so if you call ahead or text ahead even, they'll place your order. They'll have it ready for you right when you pull up. It makes it that simple. You can see their entire selection at leafly.com. They're always running specials on their Facebook and their Instagram, so follow them on there so you don't miss any of that. That's at MedFarmOK. That's PHARM. Their website's medfarmok.com. And they're always running a special, which is if you mention Thunder Underground, they'll give you 10% off your first order, which is a very good reason to go there. But an even better reason is that 30% of their proceeds go to build no-kill animal shelters. That means nearly a third of their profit is going to build no-kill animal shelters. And I can promise you there's not another dispensary in this area doing that. So if you're in the Tulsa area, come over and support MedFarm. And of course, tell them Thunder Underground sent you. Sunset Tattoo is a tattoo shop also in Tulsa in the Midtown area. They've got over 25 years of experience. Their tattoos are done good and proper. They're state licensed, and above all else, they are mother approved. Jake and his crew do some amazing work. You can see all the photos at Instagram at Sunset Tattoo Tulsa and on Facebook at Sunset Tattoo Tulsa as well. Give them a call, shoot them a message so you can schedule a time to get over there and talk about what work you want to have done. It's a great shop run by great people, so get over there and tell them Thunder Underground sent you. And finally, we've got Hella Hot Sauce, which is a hot sauce company based out of the San Francisco Bay Area in California. They make small batch artisan hot sauces. You can see their entire selection at hellahotsauce.com. They've also got collaborations that they've done with some artists, including a couple artists that have been on this podcast. Ghoul has a hot sauce called Brain Jerk, and Florida Frank from Hatebreed has a sauce called Florida Frank's Florida Heat. That's a great one. We've got some here ourselves. We love it. So get on Facebook or Instagram at Hella Hot Sauce. Give them a follow there. Check out the website. Pick up some of this for yourself. If you're on the West Coast, you can find them in stores out there. But if you're anywhere else, get online and pick you up some of this stuff. If you like your hot sauce with a lot of flavor, you will love this stuff, I promise. What do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about Fist of Rage?
Well, of course, I always want to talk about Fist of Rage. Actually, we've been in the studio for quite some time now working on this next upcoming album that's featuring Brax on vocals. And we're so close, Trent. We've got about 3 or 4 more songs we've got to polish up, and then we should be able to put this baby out come 2021.
Nice.
So excited. And we cut that one single with Ripper.
Yeah.
That's been the highlight of our single release for 2020.
Yeah. Yeah, so you've got... That came out this year, and then you had the track with Brax that came out last year, right?
Right.
Are both those tracks going to be on this album?
They both are on the album. Mm-hmm. Along with several, I think we've got 8 or 9 songs we're adding with those two, so we should have 10 or 11 songs on the album. We've got several more that could go on, but I think we're holding those off for the following album. It takes so long to get this done.
Yeah.
Goodness. I'm constantly like, hey, studio time this week. All right.
What did the whole pandemic of 2020 slow down your guys' recording process or no?
It did, because our producer him and his wife were expecting a baby. So they kind of, blocked everybody from coming around for quite some time. But they just had their baby a few months ago. So I think we're back in business.
Okay.
COVID slowed everything down. We've only had 2 shows, since February when we played with Buck Cherry. That was our big show for the year.
Wow. Does that feel weird?
Yes.
Is this the longest you went without a
show?
As long as you can remember, at least? Or since you started playing, probably?
Yes, it has been the longest stretch of time. I mean, even when we were going through times when we didn't have a full-time drummer, we were using temps, we still played out all the time, So this is... feel like my hands have been tied against my will. And it's not fun.
Well, how did the whole, you guys got, like you said, Tim Owens on The Rage of Judas. How was that whole process and working with him and everything?
Well, from all of the emails that we corresponded with, of course, Vernon did most of that. It was pretty exciting. We didn't get to meet him face to face. We haven't yet. He worked with us, via the tracks being sent over to him and just corresponding. I have to give it up to Vernon. I pat myself on the back all the time for all the promotions and the marketing that I do for our band and the shows we've gotten. But Vernon pulled this one out of the hat. He reached out to Tim and got him to agree to, he took a listen to the song and said he wanted to be a part of it, which... I'm just like, yep, all those years, and you do that one thing. That's awesome.
And that's, Judas Priest was one of Vernon's favorite bands, right?
Oh, yeah. That's it. This is pretty big deal for all of us. We are pretty stoked and honored to be on it. And, when Tim heard the song, when it was fully mastered, he reached back out and said that next time he does a song with us, he wants to do the growls too. So that was pretty cool. He's already thinking about it next time.
Yeah. So is Brax hold on?
I don't know if we told Brax that.
Right. Well, hopefully he doesn't listen to this. No.
Hey, Brax, you better start to growling. Keep your job. No.
So the plan is hopefully next year sometime?
Yeah.
Having everything out,
I would like to go ahead and say that we're going to be ready by spring. I don't think that that's far-fetched. Late spring, if anything. And if we're not ready by then, I'm sure I'm going to have to hold out my hand and get it slapped for saying that. But right. I will take that. We want to put this album out. We're ready.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, because it's been now, what?
2 years.
Probably 3 years? 2 years?
2 years. We got Braxton and Josh in 2018. We cut the last time in 2019, and then this song recently.
Right.
Going on, 2021, it'll be 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because, we sat down and talked to you guys when the last time came out, and it doesn't seem like 3 years ago. But...
No. No.
That's where the infamous voice clip of you came from that I have not even mentioned, and I won't.
I see that all the time. I see people just kind of throw that word out there, and it cracks me up because I'm like, I don't even know if they know.
Right.
Moist.
I'll put it in right
you
here.
You should tell.
Yeah, okay.
Right there.
Right.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. Well, have you been listening to anything new this year? Or
So, this is where I know like Jason Carroll's gonna frown and shake his head and probably Kevin Graham and all those other metalhead, probably you. The revivalists have really gotten my attention for the last couple of years. I'm really hooked on everything they're doing, and I've also gotten into some real hillbilly, bluegrassy, folky music.
That's cool.
Which, like the Dead South, have you heard of them?
Yes.
I love them.
Yeah.
They're so great.
Yeah, I listened to one of their albums a while back and loved it, and I need to dig into more.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I've been going down the road. And of course, I've been bringing back some of my old punk roots and blasting some, Distillers, and I always play Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. They're like my favorite. I'm not into cover bands, but they're my favorite cover band. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Yeah, those guys are great.
Yeah.
Have they done anything recently?
No.
I didn't think so. Yeah, well, enough's enough.
Yay.
Yeah. We've got Donnie Vie here, and do you want to talk about Rocklahoma?
I do.
That's actually the last time I believe that I saw Enough's Enough. I'd seen him in the 90s a couple times, and I don't believe he was singing at that.
Right.
That Rocklahoma, which was 2007, the first Rocklahoma.
Yes.
But
it was hot as hell.
Yeah, it was. That was back when it was in
July
for the first 3 years, and it was just like those shows that happened between like noon and 5 p.m. are like
brutal,
insane.
Yeah, and I remember the first year they had that oil wrestling pit. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
I don't remember it being back there the second or third year, but I know it was there the first year. That was a lot of fun. Twisted Sister did Christmas in July that year.
Right.
And closed it out that Sunday. And Enough's Enough, like, they were the first band to sell out of, like, all their t-shirts. They'd made a t-shirt with a pot leaf on it. Said, I got high at Rocklahoma.
Oh, really?
Enough's Enough. And, yeah, we had went to check the booth, and they had sold completely out.
Wow. Yeah, that'd be cool to get a hold of nowadays.
I guess I should backtrack a little bit on that. So 2007 I was going through a divorce of 17 years with the man I was with. You're going to have to edit this somewhere. So I find myself going to Rocklahoma, not knowing what it's about, just knowing that there's a music festival, and this is my first time in many years to go do something, but I'm alone, and I don't know if I should do it or not, and I didn't have a ticket, and Survivor was that weekend, also Survivor auditions here in Tulsa, so I had decided that I would go to the Survivor auditions, and then maybe drive to the camp, to the grounds to see the festival, and maybe see if I could find a ticket. And I'm sitting through this Survivor audition waiting my turn. And I've done talked myself out of it because, I don't really have that much cash on me. I don't have anyone with me. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going, what I'm going to do when I get there. And this chick is sitting next to me and she's like, hey, what number are you? And I'm like, excuse me? And she's like, what number are you? And I'll listen for your number because I want you to read something. And I'm like, okay. So I tell her what number I am for the audition. And she's like, okay, what animal did you see today on your way here? It's such a random, strange conversation, Trent. And I'm like, I didn't see any animals. It was early in the morning when I got up and left and came here. She was like, you saw something. What did you see? Well, I'm trying to think back, what did I see when I came out the door to my truck? And there was a giant Luna moth on my windshield that morning. I didn't think that counted as an animal, but I was like, well, there was this Luna moth on my windshield that I had to take off because I didn't want to hurt it. And she's like, oh, that's perfect. So she excitedly looks up this chapter in this book, and the book was about your spirit animal and the representation. So she looks up the chapter about like moths and butterflies. And it says that I should let go of my baggage and spread my wings and fly. So based on how random that was, I was like, okay, this is a sign that I should go to Rocklahoma.
Right.
Oh my God. I get there and I'm sitting in the parking lot. First of all, they tried to charge me to park. And again, I was on a fixed income. I had about $50. And I'm like, if I give you $5 to park, I'm only going to have $45 left. I don't know how much it's going to cost to scalp a ticket, but I don't think I'm going to get in.
Right.
And they're like, well, whether you park or not, you got to pay it. And I'm like, well, there goes $5. And I sat in my truck for like 15, 20 minutes trying to decide if I was going to go through. And then I finally decided to at least walk to the gate to see if I could find a scalper. And as I'm getting to the gate, there's this dude selling tickets. He didn't have one ticket though, but he told me if I'd stand around with him for a while that he'd probably get a ticket to sell. So I watched the ins and outs of how to scalp tickets that day. I learned that many people would rather eat their ticket than try to admit that they got stood up to get rid of one ticket. So a lot of people will eat them going through the gate. And so here this little dude was out there, you know, hollering that he was buying tickets off of people. And he had tickets for sale. And so people were coming up with their one tickets and selling them. And he'd get a couple and make a package out of them and turn around and sell them to a couple people needing tickets. I mean, what a business, right? Yeah. So like about 15 minutes of standing there, he's like, all right. I said, you know, at this point, we're kind of friends. You should just, you know, walk me in and then let me go. And he's like, well, how about I put this pass around your neck and you give me $25 and I walk you in and then you give me the pass back. It was an all access pass. And I'm like, look, if I give you $25, all I'm going to have is $20 left. And as soon as you take that pass and walk out, I've got no proof that I belong in there. I'm screwed. Well, so we compromised and he said, okay, how about I walk you in and get you seated? And then, I got to go back to work. And if you're still here when I get done working, you know, we'll go hang out and run around. And I was like, deal. So we walked all around, went all backstage, went everywhere, the clubhouse, we went everywhere. It was amazing. I met a lot of people just in the first 30 minutes of getting in the gates. And then he took me out to the VIP area and he was like, okay, you know, I got to go back up front. But if you're still here when I come back, we'll hang out. I watched several bands and I didn't have a wristband. I didn't have a pass. I had to pee. I was like, oh my God, he's not coming back. You know, this is it. That's all she wrote. I've seen enough of this show. It's been great. I got to go find a bathroom. And I'd finally thrown in the towel and was getting up to go to the bathroom. And here he comes walking. I mean, and it's been hours. Here he comes right towards me. And I'm like, you really came back. And he's like, well, you're still here. So that was the beginning of my weekend. Turns out he was scalping tickets for Enough's Enough. They had gotten like, from what I remember them saying, now this has been 13 years, you know, so it seems like he said that they'd gotten 50 plus extra tickets for that show. So wow. They were out there scalping them, I guess.
That's funny, but it's, you know, when you're in a band, you know, and you got to make extra cash, why not?
Yeah. So he takes me back and he's like, yeah, I'm actually working for this band. He's like, well, technically I'm working for the management of this band. And I'm like, okay. So we go back. He's like, do you want to meet them? And I'm like, yeah. So we go back there and he introduces me to their road manager, which was Ryan Johnson, I think is his name. And this guy was a cool cat. And then I met Bill Long, who was playing guitar, I think, for Enough's Enough that weekend. He was a nice guy. And then I showed you that picture and we decided that was Chip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think they had me confused for some female musician that either looks a lot like me or has my name or has both, resembles me and has my name and is a musician. Because as they were introducing me to the guys, they're talking to me like we just hung out last weekend and it's good to see you again. Didn't know you were going to be here. And I'm just going along with it. Like, yep, let's go. We got on those golf carts and rode all around. I had a great weekend. Yeah. I slept in my truck the whole weekend. I could have stayed in there with them, but, you know, not knowing what the hell I was doing and first time out in many years, I felt safest in my truck. But yeah, I can't, you know, I was able to go get my truck and pull it up next to their RV and hang out with them. I got to go on the RV with Skid Row. Probably need to edit this out.
Yeah, I'll edit that out for you.
Yeah, thanks. But that's really it really happened. Yeah. But Enough's Enough, man. That whole crew took me in. I told them that I had, you know, again, had been married for 17 years, and the guy that I had been married to, you know, from the time I was 16 till I was in my 30s, he was just overall bad guy. So this was kind of me stepping out into the world for the first time on my own. And so when I told them my story and how I got there and everything that had transpired that morning, I mean, they took me under their wing and just treated me like a queen the whole fucking weekend. It was badass.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because you hear so many, like, negative stories about
Yeah.
situations like that, so it's cool that,
Yes. I had a lot of bragging rights when I came back. Cause I didn't have to go out there and act like a damn groupie. I didn't have to do any of that, you know, and I probably had one of the best times of anyone out there. And it cost me $5.
That's right. Not even that extra 25.
Yeah, no. Man, and like, you know, I got to hang out with so many cool people. That was it for me. I stepped on the side stage there and watched all those bands play and get to bump elbows with them on the side. And I was like, this is it. Like, I never want to leave this world. I want to always be a part of this.
And you got that awesome picture of Jenny Lang.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Wish I could go back and do that again.
Yeah. And besides just that whole experience, those first, 2 or 3 Rocklahomas, just the energy and the vibe just felt so, not just nostalgic. It was just like, it felt just way different than it does now. You know?
Yeah, this is true. Well, the second year was when that big old tornado came through, right?
Yeah.
And everything was that was the only year of Rocklahoma that I missed. I've been to every single one of them except for that one. Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I missed that one.
Yeah.
And these other ones that have rained out have made up for it.
Right.
Plenty enough. And now they're moving Rocklahoma to Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get the same results.
Yeah. But my guess is that's just a 1-year thing.
You think?
Yeah. Because
COVID
stuff's not going to be happening next May anyway, I don't think, as far as festivals go. So my guess is if it does happen in September, then 2022 would go back to Memorial Day, I bet.
Right.
I could be wrong, but it's just the impression I get.
I guess they'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a changer.
Yeah.
Never know. And I know that, one of your guys' sponsors is DB.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And they're doing that Streets Gone Wild in April. That's going to be exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, they announced that just this past week.
Yeah.
With Lita Ford, Queensryche, and Bullet Boys and Nita Strauss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Is this bad if I ask who she is?
No. She is Alice Cooper's guitarist.
Oh, okay. Okay.
She used to be in the Iron Maidens.
Okay.
Before that.
Okay.
And she has solo music as well, so I'm sure that's what she's doing on her own. But...
Sorry, guys. But I didn't know who she was.
That's all good.
I'm glad that you called me to come and talk for 15 minutes without you getting a word in edgewise. That was great.
Well, no, that's the point of having someone on, is to hear what they have to say, because we've been doing this for 5.5 years. Everybody knows what me or Jason think about most stuff, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I guess jumping into the main part of this is Donnie Vie has new music out. Well, he's got a new single called Party Time, and then he had a song come out earlier this year. He's working on a video for Party Time, and we talked about all that. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
It's good stuff.
Good.
Yeah.
So we should be seeing maybe a comeback this coming year from him on the road or anything?
Yeah, I don't know. He hasn't really played many shows in the past. I think we recorded this over a month ago now.
Oh, okay.
Because we're so stacked on, we've got 11 interviews we haven't released.
Wow.
And I remember he said, I think he's only done a few shows in the past 6 years. Just spot shows here or there. Yeah, I think that's the idea of once touring becomes a thing again.
That would be fun.
Yeah, cool. Well, let's get into this. Here's Donnie Vie.
All right.
Single Party Time that's supposed to be out here in a couple weeks. I mean, the title seems kind of obvious, but what can fans expect from this track?
Well, start off by saying I'm shooting the video this week. Big budget video, like the first time since like Right by Your Side and shit. And it's going to be very cool, very interesting, and entertaining. Actually, my former partner is actually in the performance with me. My bass player got sick and he got ill, and so I had to call somebody. So I figured I'd just call Chip. So he's going to be in the video. So hopefully he won't take over everything. But the single, it's a song that I've kind of been trying to write my whole career. You know, like just that one simple, straight ahead, you know, we will rock you type thing. You know what I mean? But still have the same integrity or the, you know, the style and of what the other 20 albums that I've written and done, you know. So I finally, it just came to me and recorded it, and really happy with it. And sounds, you know, it's everybody that's heard it. I'll send it to you guys when you get off the phone. You can don't play it, but you let me know what you think. Everybody seems to think that this is you know what I'm talking about. I shudder to say the word hit, but it never will be. But you know what I mean? It's going to have a big video. It's going to be very entertaining, and the song's really good. And we'll just see what happens. I don't know if it'll be a couple of weeks, because I just bought out of my label that I was with the Beautiful Things record, and this single was, I didn't do a contract with them, but I was going to release this single on that label too. And then the last single that's on the flip side is just a 45 record, you know, vinyl. And the last single that they released at the beginning of the pandemic is almost as if it didn't, I forgot that it even existed. That's how little help that I got with that. So I bought out, just Chip and I just did a nice deal with a record label where they bought, you know, they licensed our whole catalog, an up and up catalog under one roof, and which is great. And I'm doing bringing my solo catalog over there as well next. And so, you know, I had to get out of there. I took some of the money and went around and bought all my records back from all these shitty labels, and I own all my stuff again. And we're looking at a nice publishing deal in the near future. Just got to get some things sorted out. But yeah, I think it'd probably be a good thing to own this one.
Definitely. Well, going back to when you just said this is kind of the song you've been trying to write all your life, did it come to you real quickly, or is it something you've been banging out for a while?
They all do. They all come to me. When they come, it's you know, it's like I've said it before, I almost don't even feel like I could take credit for a lot of the stuff. It's like the ideas, the way they're presented to me and the way they come are, I can almost hear the song like it's being played for me, well, most of them. And you know, if you go to sit down, all right, let's sit down and write a song, that never works. You know, there's some peppered in through the catalog, but those weren't, you know, the really good ones. They just come and the song tells me what it wants to be, and I just, you know, I do my best to not fuck it up. You know, so yeah, they came really quick. Well, this one actually, I tried a couple other things with it, and it didn't work. I knew the chorus worked, but other stuff, the verses and stuff. And then just one day at something came, and I said, "Oh my God, this is perfect for party time." And it put together really well, and it needed that.
When you say you hear the songs like that before you write them, is it usually like a melody you hear, or do you hear words as well, or lyrics, something you write after you have the song?
I might hear a couple lyrics, enough to kind of to get a jump on where it's what it could be about, you know, and like the hook, it's basically like the hook of the song, or sometimes it could be the verse part, you know what I mean? And I have to fill in the blanks, you know, but it'll usually be the really catchy part of the song. That's what hooks me. That's what makes me get to work on it. You know what I mean? When I hear it in my head, I'm like, oh, that's really fucking cool. because I have to like the stuff to release anything, and I always have. I've been a fan of the stuff that I do, just because I hold really high standards when it comes to putting stuff out. Is try to make sure that I keep evolving and keep improving. And at 20 records, Beautiful Things, my last record, is the best thing I've ever done. So, I've kept going, doing this all the way for like 20 records. And it's blowing my mind how it's like I'm starting to want to look and see what's the Guinness Book record, It's like, who can put, that keeps getting better records and better and better and better. I'm an old man.
I saw, like you mentioned, you're filming the Party Time video this weekend. I saw that you put a call out for fans to come on as extras. Like, what's the idea behind the video going to be?
I can't give a lot of it away, but there is a scene, and it started out as it didn't start out to be what it's going to be. It started out to be just try to make with as minimal amount of money, try to make a video at least to go with the song, because the song needs a video. It's strong and it's got potential. And so then I did reach out and put it out there that use some fans to send in clips and stuff like that. But as it turned out, an old friend from a long time ago reached out to me, and he's gone from one business to currently making movies, like real movies and stuff, working with like Michael Madsen and working on Tarantino stuff and shit like that. And he was a great friend, and he's like, hey man, I've been always wanting to do this with you and for you. He goes, I said, well, listen to this song. And he listened and he goes, all right, let's roll on this. And then we started putting it together, and one thing after another. And before you know it, I can't believe it. I mean, I'm already $10,000 out of my pocket into this thing with just this and that, various things, lights and stage and shit like that. But the stuff that he's bringing to the picture is huge. And like there's a scene though towards the end where it's a big party scene, because obviously with the name of the song, and I needed people to big party. And with the COVID and stuff, I didn't think that'd be possible. But a pretty heavyweight DJ, I guess Mancow. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's going to be in it, and he's promoting it for extras and stuff. And so I figure I have a good chance to get at least 20, 30 people, the decent looking chicks and stuff like that. We'll abide by all the COVID rules and everything. But that's, if I would have just done it with locals and stuff like that, it wouldn't have the effect of people actually sending in headshots and auditioning and stuff for it, which is really cool. It's really great. So I haven't looked over the clips that the fans have sent in yet, but I just don't see much room left to do that. So I'm going to save all of those for something else. Not just going to throw them away. I'm going to save them for something else. So I always have been, this new thing that I've been doing is including the fans in everything I do, like the record cover that I did, and interacting with them a lot. And, it's really great, beautiful thing working with, with the fans being involved, and they get more supportive and behind things. And everything in the end of the day, everything I do and my purpose and everything is for them.
Well, you've mentioned Beautiful Things a few times, and you've had a couple singles this year as well as Party Time coming. Are these singles this year like all one-off singles, or are they kind of leading towards another album in the future?
That's something that remains to be seen with this new label. Like the label I released Beautiful Things with, it started out, I came back, I hadn't done anything for a bunch of years. So I had to get my health back together. I had to get clean. I just have lost my spirit and lost everything about me that does what I do. And I just bottomed out so badly, and I had to get it back together. I went through a long couple-year program and stuff, and got healthy. And came back and decided, all of a sudden that record came to me, those ideas after nothing, no ideas at all for a couple of years. And then all of a sudden that one after another, the songs started coming to me. So I decided to go with Pledge Music to make the record, and did the pledge and doubled the goal. And so we were in good shape. But then, midway through the record, Pledge just up and disappeared, and whoever was in charge, it took all the fans' money, took all our money, everybody's money, and split and just dissolved. And even all the bands and everybody that was doing Pledge, and left me holding the bag. So not only did we have to take loans and this and that to finish all the expenses on the record, because that's, 3 months making a record is heavy duty expenses. And then I wanted to honor the pledge too, because all these fans had paid their money and stuff to support and get it made and shit. And so, most of the bands and artists, they got fucked, and so the fans got fucked. But I really did everything I could to make sure. So I took that deal just to get those CDs and stuff at cheap enough cost, and a part of the deal, so that I could get them with everything that was promised to the fans. And I don't know if I answered your question or not. Oh yeah, about making a record. Well, yeah, I said it's very, very expensive, and wouldn't make sense at that label. It's just I was like, no, this doesn't, it's not feasible. That was a big nightmare and a big expense and stuff. And I was like, I'm just going to go with singles for now. We'll see what happens. If a single catches on or something like that, then we'll think about making a record. But this new label, they've got money, and they seem to be very interested in, they love what I do and love what the band Enough's Enough has done. And it's very possible they could put up a budget to make a full record, and I've got the material.
So did the people behind Pledge ever get caught or have to atone for any of this?
I have no clue. I wish I could catch them.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even know who to look for, Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys, if they even showed their face, I mean, these are artists. A lot of artists are troubled, crazy people, you know what I mean? So I hope they're tucked away somewhere safely in like North Korea or somewhere where you never find them or get to them. But that's a lot of money that they took off and disappeared with. And they just claimed that the company went under. But the whole company revolved around and was based upon basically they were just a middleman, for fans buying your record in advance that would pay for you to make your record. And so they're just take a commission for being the middleman on that, And so they had no business doing what they did. That was just basically, I mean, those guys. I hope really terrible things happen to those guys, and I don't really wish that on anybody.
Right.
But I'm sure it'll go. What comes around goes around, and But they did fuck a lot of people. They fucked every artist, fans. A lot of bigger names was doing that pledge there at this point, because the major label thing has all changed. It's a whole different scene, you know what I mean? And classic rock and stuff, that's not, what you see on, I don't know if you call it MTV or whatever, or whatever radio is left. Has nothing to do with anything that I know, or most of the artists that I know and or like. And so the best recourse was to go with the pledge thing. And everybody did really well with that. Like Paul Gilbert and Roger Manning that was in Jellyfish. He's on my record, and a bunch of artists that I know that went that way, and they did well with it. And then all of a sudden, they all got fucked too. And like you got a guy like Paul Gilbert, and he sells a lot more than like Japan and stuff. He's got a huge thing, and it's one of those guitar gods. And so that had to have been a pretty penny there that they just got right from him alone. Being the artist, still a lot of fans don't understand the whole politics of that, and so you're kind of, for a while there, you're sort of left accountable. They're still looking at you like, hey, where's our shit? We paid our money. Where's our shit? And I went and explained it a million times on Facebook and social media. I said, hey, your shit. We not only did I have to buy it, but we got to track down and get the mailing list and the pledge list and actually package these fucking CDs and mail them to you, which took my whole family and a bunch of friends, thousands of CDs, mailing them. I said, I'm sorry that this one didn't find your cornfield yet, bro, but chill out, it'll get there. And eventually we stopped hearing people complaining and,
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think about all the info there as far as addresses go being lost as well. But can you mention
oh my God.
Can you mention the label that you're working with now? Or that was handling the Enough's Enough stuff?
The one that just brought up the Enough's Enough stuff and that I'm in the process of doing it's called Cleopatra.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember when they started. They started around when we first came out. And Brian over there, he was just was a really smart guy and started out with a little label, and now he's he's almost $250 million label now. That's quite a bit for these days.
Well, you recently returned to Enough's Enough for at least one track for Strangers in My Head on their new album. Like, how did that whole process come about?
Well, I don't know if you know anything or follow anything that I've done, but a lot of really crazy shit went, I was feeling pretty violated with, I call it Diet Enough's Enough. The new, it's like, looks the same, it's looking the same rapper, but it's no sugar.
Right.
But in any case, there was some things that I considered pretty immoral and unethical that were happening and going down, and the ends have to justify the means with, what attorneys cost and stuff like that. And so I went on a pretty heavy tirade. Just if I can't do nothing about this, I'm at least going to let the fans know what they're talking about when they're always coming at me and, you need to just quit whining and get back together with him and this and that. And so you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Why don't you go get back together with your ex-wife? I thought you made a cute couple, And so, and then with the COVID came and also that catalog deal came, we had to talk. He called me and we started talking, and like all of the bad blood and everything didn't, the conversation of course didn't start with that, because this was my brother for 30 years that we made it together. All the great things we ever done in both of our lives, and some of the worst were together, and a lot of times, and it was a crazy ride. There's crazy fucking characters, and we started talking and laughing, and it's just without the business, and then the business parts would come and this and that, and I just had to get into it with them. We just started getting a little heated, and I was like, what is your fucking agenda, man? Who are you doing this for? Do you think the fans are by calling this Enough's Enough? I couldn't believe you'd do that in the first place without the singer and the songwriter. You know what I mean? After that body of work there was to go and do that, and and it's something that he wants to do. I understand that, it doesn't make that big of a difference with Enough's Enough with who's singing anymore, with the kind of tours and shows that he's doing. They're on those cock rock conglomeration things and just playing little shows for, $1,000 for 50 people here and there. I won't do that. You know what I mean? And that's what he likes to do. And I have no problem with that. There was some other things of, going and trademarking and owning the name and everything, where legally I can't have anything. You can make all the decisions what happens with the name of the band and releasing records and what happens to catalog and everything. So that's, how the fuck did you do that? You know what I mean? And then some of the songs that I'd written were people are sending me the things that are appearing in these bad B movies and shit. And so I'm like, what the fuck, So we started talking, and it just basically came down to, well, if you're releasing another record, I think at least, I think the fans at least would love to hear at least one song, one song with the chemistry that they're familiar with and that they loved and supported all those years. And he agreed. And so I had one that was a little heavier than what I was, currently the direction that I'm really looking. And so I sent that to him. He played on it, sent it out to the drummer buddy that mixes and stuff like that. He played drums on it, and we got it on the record. And you know, it exactly what I thought would happen did happen. You know, people really loved that one.
Yeah. This next question's kind of, I'm going to say this is very loosely, but there's times on the album where I think Chip's voice in a couple choruses on songs you're not on sounds similar to you. Do you think that that's similarity in the voices, or just him doing that intentionally?
Well, of course he's trying to sound like me. I'm one of his favorite singers, and
Right.
we both have the same influences. You know,
Right.
we both grew up loving the same stuff. So, you know, he was always a singer. But you know, if you look at it in comparison, when you're comparing the two, that's where he falls short. Now, if he was just doing something on, you know, not calling it enough and not having the comparison, and now just being, you know, presenting on his own, you know, his own merits and his own efforts and everything, that I think people would embrace it a lot more. But, you know, he learned something in 30 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Changing it up a little bit, we put out a call, got a couple questions from some friends of ours, and the singer for the band Down for Five, Psych, asked if you could ask one question to John Lennon, what would it have been?
I don't, probably, I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know. That's a really tough question. You know, there's not a whole lot that, I don't know, maybe, where did you get your cocaine? Because I know you got the good stuff. Who got your cocaine?
Right.
No, but I don't do that shit anymore. I haven't done it in ages. I'm about 5 years, going on 6 years clean now.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. After
maybe,
45
maybe
years,
the answers
dirty as hell.
Maybe the answers would just be in his music, you know.
And who's me, John?
Yeah.
Well, there hasn't been a hell of a lot in a while,
Right.
you know. But you know, there was a time there, man, when, like, say, 1965, 66. Could you imagine? You know, the end of the hair part on the side without the glasses, like just getting up and, you know, looking in the mirror and just, you know, with that voice and all those songs and stuff. He must have just looked and was like, just started laughing. I'm the baddest ass on the fucking planet, and he was, and
Yep.
and he continued to evolve and grow. But I think you reach a point when you get so great, where can you go from there? But start to, you know, there was, you know, he still was amazing, and he still kept doing amazing stuff, but kind of seemed like he was starting to wind down towards the end, you know. And like even with Double Fantasy, you know, that wasn't, I wouldn't hold that record up there with you know, his best stuff. And so he was kind of doing the wind down. You know, he wasn't hungry anymore. He had money. He was happy. He had his wife and his family. And, you know, they lose that hunger. You know, I'm still scratching and clawing, so I'm hungry as fucking starving to death. So I keep plugging away, you know, but I can understand that. But yeah.
What you just said kind of plays into the next question, which is from CJ of the band Grind. He said, with so many artists having fizzled out since you guys kind of hit the scene in the 80s, what is it that keeps you going and motivated?
It's I recognized pretty quickly that it was my purpose, you know what I mean? And my goals and dream was never to be a famous rich rock star. Mine was it was like a purpose. It was like a calling. And my goals and my dreams was to one day be able to be held in the same regards to somebody else as the things that were affecting me so heavily, like to be that for other people, and to be that, and to record something, right, and record and sing something that I thought could sit in that level. You know what I mean? And as far as, you know, what I've told, I've achieved that, and I'm still going. And it's just what kept me going was that, you know. Then after after a while, you know, the my fans they're small but mighty. The Enough's Enough fans they seek you out and find you in the dark corners and shit. And you know, and so many people have told me how heavily that the music affected their lives, and some even that it saved their, you know, the difference of saving their life or something. And you can't put a price tag on that. And that's a purpose. That's you know, how do you not continue to do that? You know what I mean? How did you walk away and let that down? And plus, you know, I don't dig manual labor. I don't like flipping burgers and digging holes and shit like that. And you know, even when I wasn't making any money, I still could survive on charm. So, or lack thereof, you know. But yeah, I mean, what else would I do? It's just it runs through my blood. Like it's probably there's more music in my blood than blood.
Right.
You know, right now when there's not a lot of performing going on, how are you keeping your voice? How are you maintaining your voice and keeping it in shape?
I'll find out. I gotta track a song in the next few days, and I haven't sang anything in quite a while. And
right.
I doing all this business and stuff with, you know, we were just getting ready to go out and tour. I hadn't played out live in 5-6 years. I did like one show, but it was very untogether and rushed because a lot of things went wrong, and different players didn't cut the mustard. I was scrambling, but I couldn't cancel it because it was already sold out like a month and a half before the show, and so I had to do it. And like people couldn't even get in when we showed up and did it, and it was as far as I was concerned, the performance was a failure, but as far as the fans, they embraced it and loved it, and they thought it was great. And all I got to do is basically just show up alive, and I won. You know what I mean? after my lifestyle. But I don't know. I've been, you know, I've smoked cigarettes since I was 12, 13 years old, and except for a brief stint in jail, I've never quit. And smoking one right now. Probably smoked 2 on this interview alone, and maybe that's the secret. That's probably the secret to my sound, you know.
Yeah.
So it's always there when I go to you, when I need it. It's always there, and you know, you just warm up and sing through it a couple of times, and then, you know, and then by the next, you know, a few times through, and you open up a little bit, and it's always there for me. It hasn't let me down yet.
First time I saw you live was whenever you guys were opening for Extreme on the 3 Sides to Every Story tour. Like when you look back at the 80s and 90s and the heyday of you guys touring, like what are your favorite experiences or best tour?
Oh my God, there was so many. We played with everybody from oh shit, I think we even played with somebody like Slayer or something one time. They could stick us on any bill, and we had such a vast variety of songs and styles, and a lot of stuff that wasn't even on records. And the players that were in Enough's Enough, like Derek and Chip and myself, you know, we're all very good enough that we can wing it, and we've written songs on stage and shit. But we played with everybody from like the heaviest thing you can imagine, all the way to, I think one show we played on an aircraft carrier with Debbie Gibson. You know what I mean? So we played with everybody, and I forgot what the question was.
Or just like what might have been your favorite tour or
oh, yeah,
bands you played with? Yeah.
Well, you know, a lot of the best times, the best tours and stuff were kind of, I wasn't stopping to smell the roses and enjoying them. I was, you know, preoccupied with tomfoolery.
Right.
And so so it's like what you, in those days, it's like which band partied the hardest, and that would be the one that I would have enjoyed the most, you know. But we've had, you know, like Def Leppard was really the greatest guys, you know, in a band I really respected. Out with Poison for a summer was a lot of fun, you know. You know, the Warrant thing, we did some Nelson stuff, but you know, those were those were crazy. And you know, our first tour was Mr. Big. That was a great tour because what a crazy bill too, you know, because our fans, you know, we came out with the glam and the look and all that stupid shit, and they were nothing like that. And so you'd see our fans peppered in with theirs, you know, and we'd walk on to the Finger, people giving us the finger and shit, but by the end of the show, once the hair fell down and the makeup sweated off and you just stand there with no shirt on, pair of leather pants, kicking fucking ass, we won their fans over. So, we did that in Badlands. And we played with fucking everybody, and so it's hard to say what's your favorite. It's just, I had a lot of great times, I could think of some that might have been my least favorite, but I'm not going to mention any of that.
Right on, man. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk with us today.
Oh, my pleasure. Sorry that I'm such a windbag, kind of fired up these days.
That's what we like. That's what we want.
Make sure the best interviews.
Hope you're not live.
No, we're not. It's
editing time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll probably have to edit this time. You might make this a 2-3-parter.
No, we're good, man.
I really appreciate it. Thank you for thinking of me. Thanks for having me on. And anytime you send me your email and a text, I'll send you that song. You guys let me know what you think of it.
There you go, Donnie Vie, the original vocalist of Enough's Enough. A huge thank you to Michael King for his help with that one. And, of course, a big thank you to Donnie for taking some time there to talk to me and Jason about everything he's got going on. And also a massive thank you to Paulette for doing this with me as well.
Ooh, thank you for letting me come and do this with you. This is exciting.
Yeah.
I am always down to come and replace Jason anytime it's needed.
I'll let him know that. Every other week now, you're out, Paulette's son. No.
That's right. No. Jason, man, you guys are good guys. Y'all have been doing this, and you got a lot of fans out there, so keep doing it, because everyone loves it.
Well, I appreciate that.
And we appreciate it, too, You've done interviews with some great people and some great locals, and the fact that you're getting attention from Blabbermouth magazine and a lot of these other notarized promotional media sources is amazing, Trent. So just thanks for, supporting the locals while you go along with the national interviews that you're doing. It's great.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that means a lot.
Well, I mean it sincerely.
Well,
I think all the locals do.
Well, coming up here in just a few episodes, episode 300 will be one of our local bands, Severmind.
All right.
They've joined us now for every 100 milestone.
Wow.
100, 200, and now 300.
Wow. Goodness.
But if you're listening to this because you're a fan of Enough's Enough, we've got a lot of previous interviews with tons of guys from that genre of music, like we've had on Frank Hannon of Tesla, Vivian Campbell of Def Leppard, guys from Warrant, Firehouse, Trickster, Bullet Boys, Great White, Lillian Axe, Junkyard, LA Guns.
Your list just goes on and on. It's amazing.
Stuff that I forget. There's been 295 episodes before this, so
Goodness.
We seem to forget some of them. I say that all the time, like we repeat the same ones every time, it seems like, because it just gets stuck in our head.
Yeah.
And then I look back and I'm like, hold on, half the time I don't mention Kiss or Guns N' Roses, like these huge bands that we had a member of. But I guess that's a good place to be in. So
you really can't complain about that.
Yeah. So you can check everything out on pretty much anywhere. You can listen to podcasts. You can also do it on our website, thethunderunderground.com. All our socials are on there. Click on all of them and follow them and like them. While you're doing that, also follow Fist of Rage on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram.
Yes.
What's your Twitter and Instagram handles?
Our Instagram handle is Fist of Rage 918, and I believe Twitter is the same thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Surely you can find it now. And we are not yet on this new, whatever media source they have now. I've seen people talking about it all day.
Oh, Parler or something like that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm clueless to it.
I am very clueless right now.
Yeah. I don't know if it's something that is a good platform for music or not. If it is, maybe we'll check it out.
Right. We'll see. Who knows?
Yeah.
2021.
Right.
Gotta be better.
That's right. Yep. Follow us on YouTube as well, at The Thunder Underground, and subscribe there. Got a lot of reviews that are separate from this podcast. We've got interviews coming up with members of Devil Driver, Helmet, Tyler Bryant of Shakedown, Mitch Perry, Dark Tranquility. A long list. There's like 8 or 10 unreleased interviews coming up.
Moist. That's a good moment for a clip insert right there, because that's badass. You gotta love it.
A clip insert of, like, you saying moist or what?
Yeah.
Okay. I gotcha.
That's a lot. That's a great list. I look forward to listening to your interviews.
Well, thank you. All right, well, you got anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
I mean, just, again, thank you for having me. And Jason, thanks for letting me fill in for you tonight, man. And you and Trent are great. And Thunder Underground's great. And have a nice weekend.
Cool.
Week.
And Fist of Rage is great.
Fist of Rage is great.
So, yeah, thank you for doing this. And a huge thank you once again to Donnie Vie and to our sponsors, Med Farm, Sunset Tattoo, Hella Hot Sauce, and DEB Concerts. And until next time.
Hello, I've got Mr. Donnie Vie for Trent and Jason. You guys hold for a moment?
Of course.
How you doing? That was my secretary.
Well, glad to meet your secretary.
Always sounds more important, if you have a secretary.
Right.
Moist.
Thunder Underground, y'all.